Coaches are raving about this player that the 49ers drafted, and the more that I learn about this kid, the more confident I am that this is not only a perfect fit for the 49ers, but he's going to go down as a steal in the very near future. Hit subscribe if you're looking for daily 49ers content. We're going to get into all of that in this video. But when you look at Upton Stout, okay, this kid, you're not surprised to hear about his 4.4 40, right? Okay. He had a blistering 1.5 110-yard split. That's great too, a 37.5-inch vertical and an unreal 21 bench press reps for a 5'8", 180-pound dude. He's an intriguing prospect for sure, right? But when you watch the film, maybe you saw that he's strong against the run. Maybe you saw that he's flying around and tackling guys way above his size. You saw him intercept the ball and run it all the way from sideline to sideline and take it to the house, which I think is going to be on one of these plays here in a second. But Upton Stout is so much more than that. I literally cannot wait to tell you more about this individual because everything I'm reading, everything I'm learning about this guy is better and better and better. And what coaches are saying about him is something that we should care about because this perspective here, here's the sideline to sideline, catches it on the sideline around the 45-yard line on the other side, on his side of the field. And look at him go. It's incredible. Okay. So yeah, Upton Stout has a lot to be excited about, but listen to what the coaches say. Okay, Eric Branch wrote this article for the San Francisco Chronicle. I strongly encourage you to check out the full article. It is a pretty long article, and I promise you I have every single paragraph that pops up on the screen is well worthy of your time. This is truly incredible. As I was reading this, I was literally like, dude, when Fred Warner signs, I'm like ready to run through a wall for him. When I watch the highlights, I'm ready to run through a wall for him. When I listen to his pregame speeches, I'm ready to run through a ball. I've never had an article make me, just like reading an article, make me like, I'm ready to run through a wall for this kid. This is crazy, okay? So head coach, his college head coach, Tyson Helton, and Stout's position coach, Devon Brown, recently hailed his passion, courage, and commitment and aggression, qualities that allowed the shortest 5'8", 8.5 inches, and lightest player, 181 pounds, among the 56 defensive backs in the NFL Combine to become a third-round pick in last month's draft. But Helton and Brown also kept it real while raving. Stout could be kind of a handful, okay? We're going to get into that, and I promise it's going to play into this really well for the 49ers. For example, when the straight shooting Stout missed 6 games with a shoulder injury in 2023, he wasn't alone in feeling discomfort. Helton recalled how he gave the training staff a good time. He was like, I'm going to put in the time, and your job is to get me out on that football field. So I show up here at 6 a.m. I expect y'all to be ready to rock and roll, Helton said. Later, adding Upton is always going to tell you how he feels. And some of that starts to sound negative, but bear with me on this because this kid is incredible. To be clear, this isn't news to the 49ers, who made the first team All-Conference USA pick, their second highest drafted quarterback since 2017, and are optimistic he can serve as their nickel corner as a rookie. Like Helton and Brown, they view Stout's rough edges as a reflection of his all-consuming devotion. Now, like mentality comp right here, okay? Not going to say same player, although of course they're playing the same position. There's a mentality comp with Deommodore Lenoir, with the vocal nature of who Deommodore Lenoir is, with his ability or willingness, I should say, to always speak his mind. But it also transitions to attitude. Keep reading. Stout's work ethic explains why he ranked first among defensive backs at the Combine with 21 bench press reps of 225 pounds, a total that matched that of 324-pound Alabama guard Tyler Booker, the number 12 overall pick in the draft. The secret to Stout's strength, he pushed the limits by lifting with Western Kentucky's linemen. You've probably heard that story. Pretty incredible. Stout regularly texted Brown after practice to elicit feedback on performance. His dad, Brian, said his son's nonstop workouts were why he was rarely seen when he returned home on college breaks. Kay, Stout's head coach at North Shore High School in Houston, recalled how he'd arrived at the deserted campus on weekends and discovered Stout after he'd set up cones and a trash can running drills on a practice field. Okay, this kid's crazy. As far as the Upton Stout experience, not always being cream and cookies, Niners director of player personnel Tariq Ahmad smiled broadly when when the topic was broached. We were aware, Ahmad said, laughing. We did a lot of background work on him. When someone is so passionate and so competitive, it's possible. Not everyone responds to that or enjoys working with that type of person, but we have to figure out, do they love football? And is the passion coming from a good place? Our scouts do a great job filtering through all of that, and we felt really comfortable with Upton. The 49ers hosted Stout on a pre-draft visit and had multiple scouts speak to sources at Western Kentucky. That group included area scout Warren Ball, who absolutely loved what Upton Stout was about. Ball, 31, wrote in a pre-draft report that Stout had the heart of a lion. He viewed Stout as peerless when it came to a category the 49ers term game wit, which is what it takes. That's what it stands for. It took me a second. It's essentially evaluating game demeanor, aggressiveness, mentality, and strain. Warren gave Upton the highest game wit grade he's ever given a prospect. That's this kid right here, Upton Stout. My goodness. He was drafted with general manager John Lynch terming it the most memorable post-pick phone call of his 9-season tenure. During an 89-second conversation that also included head coach Kyle Shanahan and Jed York, Stout said, "Let's do it." 9 times. Called York coach in his excitement and assured Shanahan that the 49ers had just drafted a dog. Stroud's energy was infectious. Near the end, Lynch had the draft room yell, "Let's do it," on a count of 3. I swear, I'm not kidding. Like, it just keeps getting better. And I've cherry picked. I promise you, like, read the whole article from Eric Branch. It's awesome. But even cherry picking, there's just so much good stuff that he unearthed in this San Francisco Chronicle article. I think the reality of being able to extend his playing career was the more emotion than he could contain. That was no show. That was as genuine as it comes, the testament to his love for the game. Upton didn't just play with an attitude, he trained with an attitude. I think he just made up his mind at an early age that he was going to be the best he could possibly be. Having a down year, playing varsity, but not playing at the standard he wanted, or I wanted, this is talking about Stout, his high school year, really molded me into the person I am today. I began really hitting it hard in the offseason. I began really asking the coaches to develop me to become a Division I football player. After that year, I was like, okay, you're going to get eaten by the world, or you're going to come out and be a man. It's easy to see why the 49ers were smitten. Lynch and Shanahan, I covered that. Pick college prospects who bleed football, an unrelenting sport that often weeds out those who aren't fully committed at the NFL level. And Stout's playing style is a fit with defensive coordinator Robert Saleh, whose pet phrases include all gas, no brakes, and extreme violence. Last thing, I think he'll feed off of skeptics who think he's bitten off more than he can chew. I think that's going to fuel this already raging fire even more. Now, the obvious downside for Upton Stout is his size, okay? 5'8", 180 is not exactly the size that you're dreaming about. He's the smallest corner in the draft, but also managed to bench the most in the draft. He's solid in his speed. He's great in his 10-yard split. I'm stoked about Upton Stout. I was already stoked about the pick, but this stuff, hearing what his coaches have to say, how they rave about his mentality, how they rave about his work ethic, that tells me everything I need to know about why the 49ers drafted him. He is a perfect draft pick for the 49ers mentality. This is like John Lynch in my mind, like always picking guys that in some way resemble the way John Lynch played. That willingness to completely fly and put your entire body on the line. And that kind of stuff does make a difference. Now, the only negative I can see about Upton Stout right now is because of his size and his ability and willingness to absolutely fly into tackles, is can he, at the NFL level, with bigger bodies, can he maintain health while completely putting his body on the line in those scenarios? That will be to be determined. However, there is no amount of who Upton Stout is in his mentality, in his work ethic, that will hold him back from being a great player. And the 49ers are really optimistic. I've heard a lot of people who know what they're talking about firmly believe that the 49ers expect Upton Stout to be a starting nickelback this upcoming season as a rookie. That is obviously exciting. And when you look at who the 49ers have drafted in the third round in the past, i.e., guy we just talked about who just signed an extension with the 49ers being Fred Warner, I mean, the 49ers have gotten some great talent in the third round over the years. And so this is another guy that is definitely going to have that kind of expectation, that kind of excitement around him in terms of what he's capable of. Will his size be a problem at times? Maybe. But the NFL today is different than the NFL was 25, 30 years ago. So I don't know if he needs to have that kind of size. We've seen with Deommodore Lenoir, who's also not a massive dude, how incredible these guys who take their training and their mentality very seriously can be really incredible. And I'll say this. The attitude that he has is kind of perfect for a cornerback. You kind of need a corner, even if he's playing in a nickel and he's only coming in for nickel packages, whatever, okay? You need a corner who can have that kind of a mentality because coverage is all about that. Like, that's all about coverage. That's, I'm going to beat you on this route. I'm going to be faster than you on your cuts. And even though I don't know where you're going, I'm still going to get there in time. That's that kind of mentality that I love to see in corners. And that cockiness of, I'm going to keep going after, I'm going to keep getting after it, and you're never going to get a break from me. That is the kind of mentality that you love to have for that particular position, especially because, you know, it's primarily a coverage position. The fact that he can also do other stuff, like stop the run, is also really important. You see the 49ers going after a lot of guys in this draft who are highly graded in stopping the run and letting go of guys who are good players that, like Malik Collins, for example, like Leonard Floyd, for example, who were not great on the edge setting, stop the run, some of that kind of default solid stuff that the 49ers drastically need to improve on this upcoming season. And they've put every effort out there. Nick Martin's another one they drafted who has really, really good run stopping or against the run grades. So we'll have to wait and see how it all goes, but my goodness, I am as fired up about Upton Stout as I have been since we drafted him. This has me ready to watch this guy every single second that I get. Let me know in the comments what you think about Upton Stout, about this draft pick, about what the coaches are saying, about the raving. Are you concerned about the personality? That, honestly, I'm not at all worried about it. He had some down years where he was humbled and he learned from it. I like the mentality in a cornerback. That's my personal take. I look forward to seeing what you guys have to say in the comments as always. Appreciate you guys and hope you're having a fantastic Memorial Day weekend.